Those fans, Orioles dropped game one of the Yankee series, a final of 3-1. Definitely was not their best hitting performance, but Yankees have some solid pitching, especially the back end of the bullpen. When you can lock a game down after the seventh inning, after you take a lead, tough to beat a team like that in that type of environment. Matt Faulkner, what say you?
Well, before we get into the the nitty gritty of this game, I don't want to leave out Shane Baz because I feel like a lot of times we forget about the starting pitcher. So Shane Baz again was outstanding, coming off a game in Minnesota that was very un-Shane Baz like, and he returned to form, pitches into the seventh inning, 10 strikeouts, which was a career high, I believe, that he tied first time with the Orioles. 4 hits, 2 walks, and then he ended up getting charged for 3 earned runs. But I thought he was huge because you knew coming into this game the Orioles bullpen had been taxed in Tampa Bay. There were a lot of guys that were not available. And so you could not afford your starter to go 5 innings and have this bullpen have to cover more innings. So the fact that he was able to get into the 7th inning, I think that was huge going forward. And yes, they did lose tonight, but by the way that he pitched, he might help them win tomorrow and on Thursday. So I don't want to forget about that. But it goes back to, we've talked on here numerous times, and you said at a pre-show, that the Jekyll Hyde. And tonight was more of what we have seen in the past from the Orioles in 2026, where you kind of waste a great performance on the mound because you're not hitting. I think they ended up, what was the final count there hit wise? Looking at the box score, was it 4 hits? I mean, 4 hits isn't going to get it done. And I mean, Rodon's a solid pitcher. You knew he was going to be on a pitch restriction, so he wasn't going to go deep into the game. But you had opportunities a couple times with the bases loaded. It just seems like tonight they just could not get the big hit that they had been getting in the month of August. So it's disappointing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there is, Matt, a pitcher every season for every team that doesn't get run support. So it's not just Shane Baz. Paul Blackburn, like in the back end of that bullpen, pitched extremely well. I mean, again, let's backtrack to last night. You see what happened last night, right? Yadier Cano, that can't happen. That can't happen. He couldn't get anybody out. And you see the back end of the Yankees bullpen, that doesn't happen. They don't have Aaron Judge, all right, which is the cornerstone of their team. I don't know if Stanton is still on that team or not. But, again, at the end of the day, I just even Palmer said that, you probably should have saw a right-hander a little quicker. Suarez should have been in the game probably a batter or two earlier. But, so it goes.
A couple things. The kind of second and really first guess this. I mean, obviously, we weren't on live, so I don't have record or evidence of this. But I'm sitting there saying, in the what was it, the 8th inning or 7th inning? I'm sorry. You get the first 2 guys on, right? Tavares gets a base hit. Franklin has a great at bat, gets a walk, and then that catcher spot comes up. And that catcher spot, I cannot wait for Basayo to get back because that spot there has been a black hole, obviously, since Rushman and Basayo have not been in it. And it seems like every other night it's a key at bat that they're either forced to have one of those guys hit or they're having a pinch hit. And the fact that, they had to bring Jeremiah Jackson in, who was 0 for 24. I mean, I had no confidence in him going up there and getting a hit. I wanted him to bunt. And I know that's not probably popular in today's baseball because you're down 2 runs in the 7th inning. But I had more confidence in him getting a bunt down and moving the runners up than I did him going in there and getting a base hit. He's hitting like 222 against left-handed pitching, so he doesn't exactly mash those guys. He's in a huge slump. I know he's not playing all the time, but I mean, it's tough when he is your guy that you have up in that situation. What was it in the second inning, right? The Orioles had an opportunity when Chisholm kicked that routine double play ball, right? There's one out and Narvaez is
Yeah, I
up.
mean,
And all he has to do, there's one out. Just make contact, brother. Just don't
make
strike out.
contact.
And what does he do? He
Yep.
strikes out. And it's like, it just seems like that spot has come back to bite them ever since that the catcher spot has been in flux. And it doesn't matter if it's Pozo or Narvaez or Rogers or Huff. I mean, it seems like that spot there it just happens to just happen way too often. And it kills you in these kind of games when runs are at a premium, you know?
Well, Matt, let me say this. They play so well in Tampa, arguably the best team in baseball record wise. I mean, the Dodgers, obviously, I just kind of put them outside the bubble. And then, you come home, the fans they're in it. And look, I am always the first one to say, look, I will trade Gunnar Henderson, Toby Mayo, Colton Cowser, and Jackson Holiday for a number one starting pitcher. No, what I'm saying is good pitching does stop good hitting. And the Yankees pitched well. Again, back of the bullpen, Cruz, Hedrick, Bednar, Blackburn. I mean, if these guys got 1.6, 1.8 ERAs, so I mean, the Orioles need a closer. We know that, but the one thing I like about the Orioles is how they can match up towards the end of the game. I mean, I know that, we talk about statistics and analytics now. Okay. It's one thing positioning an outfield or whatever, but, historically, and this has been proven in laboratories, right-handers hit left-handers better. All right. Right-handed hitters hit left-handed pitchers better. Left-handed hitters hit right-handed pitchers better. All right. So we know that. And yeah, unfortunately, Jeremiah Jackson comes off the bench and he was 0 for 24 now, 0 for 25. I think it is probably in his head now.
Yeah, I mean, and
it's go ahead.
it's
I'm sorry.
tough. I get it. It's tough when you're not playing every day, you're not getting consistent at bats, and then they throw you in there late in the game, or you're getting a start maybe once every 10 days. It's really hard to stay in a rhythm.
Yeah, hard.
And especially at the big league level, it's not in the minor league, the pitching's so much better. So it's hard. I get it. But Blaze Alexander can't get back here quick enough, right? He, from what I've read, has or is going to be starting a rehab assignment this coming week at some point, or maybe this weekend. And Felix Batista as well. I don't want to forget about him. But you figure
No, don't
once
forget
Blaze
about it.
is ready to come back, and you hope that it's sooner rather than later, you figure the guy that probably is going to get sent down is going to be Jeremiah Jackson. I mean, I can't imagine Encarnacion Strand. I mean, you can't get rid of him at this point. I think he's been too important to what they've been doing, and Jackson sort of is that odd man out. But it's unfortunate that, like I said, that catching spot just time and time again comes back to bite them. And the other part about the bullpen is, the Yankees obviously had Monday off. The Orioles played a night game, and then they're not getting back, I think they said on the broadcast, till 2 a.m. And I mean, you knew going in that your bullpen, there
You
were
got
guys
some
that were
tired
not.
Orioles.
Yeah, they're tired, number one, but your bullpen, like, there's a lot of guys, even if they were winning this game, I would venture to say that Cam Sanders, who I think threw like 25 pitches yesterday, is probably not available. Cano, I mean, there's a handful of guys that they were not going to pitch tonight, regardless of the score. Now, Kittredge would have been one that you could have used, obviously, because he didn't pitch. But I don't think the bullpen. I mean, Walker came in yesterday and he got a ground ball. And the other, but while we're on the topic of yesterday's game, I didn't necessarily, and it's easy to say it now, but I didn't love it then. I didn't like playing the infield in a, what was it, 6-5 at that point when Walker was in. You're up one, and the way that the offense was swinging, I thought it was. I didn't think they needed to do it. I would have traded, a ground ball and a double play, and I would have conceded the run to tie it up, as opposed to bringing the infield in. Because what happens, I think it was Caminero hits that chopper, and if Encarnacion Strand is playing his normal depth, he catches the ball, tags third, and he's probably going to throw to first for double play. I mean, so they end up losing that
Right.
game kind of tough. Gunnar made a hell of a double play. That was fantastic. Alonso had a
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
chance. Alonso, had a chance against Baker there in the eighth inning and come up short. But the bullpen has been good outside of Cano the last couple of games. It's just a matter of you're not going to be able to use certain guys all the time every night. Obviously, this is where the offense needed to come through, and they didn't get it done.
No, they certainly didn't. Let's go to some comments here. DK Hubbard, we love DK Hubbard. If I hear anyone say trade Mayo again, I'm going to trade them to the Mexican League. Hey, I never said that. Trading Mayo, let's say in May when he wasn't doing well in June, is a bad idea. I'll guarantee it. I mean, this young man, Matt Faulkner, I want you to jump on this one. This young man has light tower, massive, big, stinky cheese power. Like, I've never seen balls fly out the way
That
he
ball
can
that
hit
he
them
hit,
out and as
that ball that he
far
hit
as they
last
can
night
go.
was that ball that came off his bat last night just sounded different. I mean, it was like almost like a gunshot. Like there's certain guys, like when they barrel up a baseball, it just sounds different. And he's one of them that you don't even have to be looking at the screen. You could just kind of hear it and you kind of know whether he got it or not. And the problem with Mayo is just like going forward. Obviously, he's been playing first the last couple of games to give Alonso a bit of a
Yeah.
break with his calf, but long term, Alonso's your first baseman, and I think rightfully so because Mayo is not some guru at first base either, and Alonso has been great over there. So Alonso's your everyday first baseman. We're always going to talk about, if healthy, Jordan Westburg. So I mean, we hope that happens next season. But you figure he's your everyday third baseman, Gunnar and Jackson Holiday, and so Mayo is sort of relegated to that DH role, especially when there's a lefty on the mound. But outside of that, like he's going to have to keep hitting because that's how he's going to get his playing time. He's not earning it defensively. He's continuing to mash lefties, and if he can just hit righties just a little bit better, you could deal with some of the issues in the field. But right now, his splits are such a drastic measure that he's not a guy that you feel like you have to start every night when there's a righty on the mound. But I mean, I think he's a top 3 or 4 hitter in baseball against left-handed starters. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Yes. I mean, uh, Matt, the Jekyll and Hyde thing is just the thing that is just driving me absolutely crazy. It really is. And it doesn't seem to, it's for me that I'm the only one here, Matt, because we have Mike T 6119. This team is bipolar. That looked like a whole different team in Tampa. Matt, what do you think the level of inconsistency that we have seen this season? What do you think? Where do you think it comes from? Is it from manager Albernaz, or are you a fan now all of a sudden? No, I'm just kidding. Or what do you think has led to this? Because again, this Jekyll and Hyde thing, and this is the last time I'm going to say that, but they play like the 27 Yankees for a few games in a row, and then boom, there they go. The the 2024 White Sox.
Yeah.
So Matt Faulkner, what say you? Tell me where I'm going wrong here.
Yeah, no, I wish that I had the solution because I think I could probably get a job with the Orioles, or at least with somebody that would want to listen to me if I had that answer. I mean, I think a couple things. I think one, you look at the team as a whole, right? And if you told me back in April when the season started that it would be August 18th and the Orioles would be going into tonight tied for the third wild card spot, and you read the lineup and it didn't have Adley, well, that would be a concern. And then if it didn't have Basayo, that would be a concern, right? And so I
Right.
think when you're dealing with those two positions, those two guys not in the lineup, or even when they both were on the team, they both were hurt at times. And then you're forced to use, like, you look at this lineup. I mean, Christian Franklin, like, not to say that he's not going to be a good baseball player, but he's not a guy. I mean, he's a career minor leaguer, and I mean, so you're
Not a
relying
guy that you
on,
want down the stretch.
yeah, like you're relying on some of these guys that were available for a reason. Leody Tavares, like, I think he certainly has value. But if you're expecting him to be your starting center fielder and hit seventh, like, I don't think that it's going to look good, right? I mean, we've seen guys get hot in spots. Jeremiah Jackson was one where when he got his opportunities early in the year, he showed what he could do. But the more that he played, the more exposed that he got, and it showed why 29 other teams didn't want him when he was available. So I think, like I said, you got young talent that's inconsistent. You've got a rookie manager who I think has hurt them in some of these close games. And then I think you could also chalk it up to some unfortunate breaks. I mean, you watch some of these games, like the ball, and I mean, luck is luck. They always say it comes back around at some point, but there's been some fluky things that have happened in some of these games that the Orioles found ways to lose. It's frustrating. I get it. I mean, I'm right there.
So what I think needs to happen here, okay, because Leody Taveras, okay, that's an interesting point, Matt Faulkner. He's not coming back. They don't want him back. No offense. I'm saying he's not part of the Orioles' future. I think DFA him. And yeah, Heston Kjerstad, right, was a first round draft pick. We're eventually going to have to see what this kid can do. I cannot believe it is the 18th of August. Am I even right? Did I lose track of the
Yeah.
days?
Yep.
The 18th of August, and we still have not seen that young man yet. That just doesn't make any sense. If you have Franklin who can hit right-handed, and you bring up Heston Kjerstad that hits left-handed, there close enough.
Well, and the
Now I
thing
will
is, like,
go ahead.
sorry, it's the other part of the Kjerstad issue is, it's Dylan Beavers does not look good at the plate right now. He's another one that yeah, he had a big base hit in Tampa in Friday night's game, but he's not looked good at the plate. And I think he struck out tonight in his pinch hit at bat, but he's hitting in in the last 2 weeks. He's a $182. He hit that home run in Minnesota. He ran into that one, but he's not looked good at the plate. And yeah, I mean, Kjerstad, he's continuing to swing the bat well down at AAA. It's just a matter of, does his defense, hurt this team more than his offense helps it? I don't know, because Beavers isn't great defensively, but I think he's probably a little bit better than Kjerstad is. Kjerstad obviously right now swinging a better bat, but the Orioles clearly favor Beavers, even when he's not looked good at the plate.
Oh, when it comes to outfield defense, okay, the Orioles did a pretty good job here. Austin Hayes became a plus defender. Cedric Mullins became a plus defender. Anthony Santander became a plus defender. Colton Cowser has become a plus defender. So, same could have been said last season about Colton Cowser. And again, he played center field this season, the beginning of the season, 1 or 2 games before they moved him. So I think that Adam Jones can help guys like Beavers, guys like Kjerstad, and I'm going to give you the wild card in the outfield. Possible you see Kobe Mayo in left field next season, because
I hope not.
really he's not going to play third. He's not going to play first. We know that. You could DH, I guess, against left-handers. All right, but we have O'Neill for one more year.
Yeah.
Guy's got to play somewhere, and his bat plays in the big leagues. His bat plays in the big leagues. So I think that they work with him to play left field.
Yeah,
I
I
really,
mean, I
really
know that
do. And
they've kind of experimented with that in years past with, I think they originally had him go to the outfield and then he eventually went back to first base. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate the idea. I think left field at Camden Yards, though, I worry about that. I think right field to me seems like it's a easier position to play, but most places, left field usually isn't, too bad.
no, I mean, again, look, and I'm not saying he did a particularly good job, but if Taylor Ward was all right
Oof,
out there, I
sure.
mean, uh, let's see, we got Mike T6119. Gunner missed a chance for a magical moment in the eighth inning. Gunner looked terrible in that at bat. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Gunnar Henderson he's got to stop swinging on the first pitch in the late stages of the game. He's not the only one. Kowser did it in the ninth. All right. You need to get on base. And both balls were outside the strike zone that he swung at. And then when he got one near the strike zone that he actually hit, he flew out to center field. So again, I just think that Gunnar Henderson has enough experience now. He's old enough now. When he's 22, 23, 24, 25. This is his fifth year now, right? That young guy whose helmet came off when he hit a home run, that was
Mm.
2022. All right. Gunnar Henderson is a veteran now. And, he in situations like that, right? The all the pressure's on the pitcher. And it seems like he takes the pressure off the pitcher and puts it on himself. Just again, some of these young players have got to take a pitch in the late innings. They all become team at bats. I could imagine what Mike Bordick would probably say right about now. Um, let's see here. Why can't they score on the bum ass Yankees? Now their defense is upgraded without Vlope. We're going to call him Vopey. But still, Matt, can't score on the bums, huh?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like we talked about, though, the Yankees had the luxury, and it's just how the schedule is. They didn't play yesterday, so you look at the box score. Rodon, you knew wasn't going to go deep into the game because he still was fresh off of that injury, right? First start back, so you knew he was going to not go deep into the game. But they bring in De Los Santos for the fifth and the sixth, but then they throw four relievers, right? So they're able to match up. They're able to use and kind of have that chess match because they have a more rested bullpen. And so it's even more difficult when they're particularly having the matchup advantage in some of these at bats. Where with the Orioles, right, they bring Josh Walker in, and the Yankees have a bunch of righties that are on the bench, and Walker. I don't know that anybody knew really much about. I mean, I certainly didn't at the beginning of the season. And the fact that he is your high leverage lefty in this game, I mean, it kind of, and really yesterday as well, it's kind of interesting because I don't think Wolfram had pitched like too poorly. I mean, I know he hadn't been necessarily excellent, but I don't remember him being like terrible. And to me, it almost seems like Walker has sort of overtaken him as the first lefty that they need late in the game. And, Goldschmidt coming up there, I didn't really hate the walk because Goldschmidt, he's a Hall of Famer and he kills left-handed pitching. So I didn't mind the walk there. You're able to strike out the pinch hitter. Was it Rosario? And then Trent freaking Grisham, who hit that home run off Boz. I mean, he give him credit, put a good swing on the fastball, base hit up the middle, and 3-1. And right there, you felt like that was kind of a gut punch. The Orioles have been able to get out of that. You feel a little bit better, but 3-1 that late in the game with all that Yankee relievers available, it was going to be a tough climb for sure.
It's going to be. It was well. It turned out to be a tough climb. Matt, let's take a quick peek here, sir, at the current wild card standings. So the Yankees now 9 games up. 9. The Red Sox +6. As I said in yesterday's broadcast, forget about those two teams. Now the Orioles went from a tie for the third wild card. They are now currently tied for second place with the Guardians, the Twins, the Detroit Tigers, and they're a game and a half in front of the Mariners. So all I ask for, okay, here's a couple things I'm going to ask for. Number one, I really want the Orioles to go to the postseason. Number two, I just want a September dogfight. All right, look, September, the end of the summer, it starts, the weather changes a little. Now, not where I am, it's burning up. But, I'm bored in September, and I want to watch some exciting darn games, man, Faulkner. So, again, the Orioles are right now a half a game out. Now they're in a dogfight with the Tigers, with the Blue Jays, with the Cleveland Guardians, with the Texas Rangers. And, that is an awful lot of teams vying for that one spot, but it is very, very exciting. I like the
nice spot
fight.
for. Yeah, I mean, and the Orioles, look, they're going to have all the opportunities in front of them because they've played Toronto 6 times. Toronto right now, of all these wildcard teams, they're probably playing the best baseball, probably right now. I mean, they've gotten hot even after trading Kevin Gausman. They pick up Soriano from the Angels, and he seems to have come in and really done a nice job. And their offense is starting to hit the ball. Now Guerrero, I know, has been out. I think he had a concussion, so he's been out. But they're a good team, and they're starting to kind of get hot. So they're a team that I would say of all of those other teams that you mentioned, I probably would buy them more so than some of the others. Detroit, yes. I mean, they're playing pretty good baseball. But the thing with Detroit is you just have to figure at some point not having Skubal and not having Casey Mize eventually is going to come back to cost you. I don't know how you can have it both ways.
Hope so. You hope so. I mean, look, when you have a good manager,
I'm banking on them. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of banking on that eventually coming back to hurt them. And then Cleveland's Cleveland. I think they'll be in it till the end. I don't necessarily think they have a great team. The Orioles have 3 games against them left. The Orioles right now, they just have to get through these next 5 games, right? 2 more against the Yankees and then 3 this weekend against Tampa. So you're 3-2 through the first 5 of this 10-game swing. If you can go, 6-4, 7-3, and then now you're probably at worst a game, maybe 2 games back, maybe tied. And then you've got a chance because the schedule softens up a little bit. You go at St. Louis, and then you've got 6 games, 3 against the A's and 3 against the Rockies that you need to take advantage of. So that's the point right there. And that
they'll
runs
lose
through
5 out of 6.
Yeah. So that
No,
stretch of games there, is where they need to start this run or continue this run. They got to survive the next 5. Hopefully you find a way to take these next 2 games against the Yankees. Maybe you win a series against Tampa, and then now you're on the road for some big series that are going to mean a lot in terms of the standings.
This is interesting. Okay, so we got James. We'll call him James. How's Jeremiah Jackson is still on this team? Why would you pinch hit him? He is horrible. A couple of things. Number one, they wanted to trade Jackson Holiday and make Jeremiah Jackson the everyday second baseman. You remember that?
I do.
In the beginning of the season when Jeremiah Jackson was raking, well, Jeremiah Jackson has been a very good pinch hitter. That's why he was up. And I think he hit for Narvaez, correct, Matt?
Yes. Yes. It was the
Okay,
9 spot. Yes.
okay, all right, yeah. So, I mean, it was either going to be him or Narvaez. Probably should have stayed with Narvaez, but yeah, I mean, let's see. Rays are fool's gold. Matt,
There
maybe Tom. But what does that mean? Maybe I'm too old for that. What's fool's gold mean?
means like they're like pretenders. They're not as good, I guess, as their record would say they are, you know. So I mean I don't know that they're as I don't know that they're the most talented team from a roster standpoint, but they're I mean they're winning games, they're finding ways to win games. So if you are what your record is, right? So, you know, right now they're the best team in the AL for sure. But yeah, I mean, do you trust them? I mean, Kevin Cash, he's one of the better managers in the game, but he's notorious for, you know, when Blake Snell, you remember that, don't you? When he took Blake Snell out of that game and they end up finding a way to lose. It was kind of similar to what he did with Peralta on was it Sunday? So,
Oh
you know,
gosh,
I don't
thank
know.
God that he did that. But I will say this, Matt, the fool's gold thing. Now that's funny. I have to tell the fans this, the viewers. Folks, Matt is not only a baseball coach, but he's a teacher, right? You're a teacher.
I am. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
High
So
school, I
things
teach
like
social
fool's
studies. Yeah.
gold and stuff. You teach social studies. Can I say something, all jokes
Oh
aside?
yeah.
That's friggin' adorable. That is adorable. I love that, Matt Faulkner. So
Uh,
that's why you know things like fool's gold and I don't. I mean, so
yeah, I
it's
mean,
nice to have the friendly neighborhood school
yeah.
teacher to help me out from time to time. We appreciate that. Yes. Why is Heston not up yet? Elias is an idiot. Well, he's. Yeah, I now, James, you and I are going to agree here. Um, Again, I think Leody Tavares. Here's the thing: it's not like the guy's done a bad job. It is just he's not part of the future. All right. So the Orioles were sellers. They kind of know where they are. They are not. They're not in. They're not the Dodgers. They're not. They're not the White Sox anymore. That used to be a good thing. And, again, at the end of the day, they are what they are. And Leody Taveras isn't coming back anyway. And I will tell
Yep.
you something about this young Franklin fella. Young man's got a good eye. At least he walks from time to time, rather than just swing at everything like the rest of the team does. Was Heston a number 2 overall pick? Yes, he was the second overall pick in the Matt Faulkner in the 2020 or 2021 draft.
That's a great question. I don't. Let's see. It was in 2020. Yeah, second round or second overall pick, 2020 draft. You know,
Here,
the
now
thing
we're
with
even with that fool's gold.
yeah, there you go. The thing that I would say about why Kerstead isn't up is maybe because they don't think that they're going to be able to find a place for him to play and get consistent at bats. And then you run into that same thing where he's on the bench and he's not getting opportunities. And then when he does get his opportunities, he doesn't look good. And you're kind of like in limbo because you think about it, when there's a lefty on the mound, right, you're pretty much putting Tyler O'Neill in right field, right? Tavares is going to play center, and you're going to have, Christian Franklin has done it, right? So, you know, he's not going to play against lefties. And then when there's a righty on the mound, well, right now they want Towser in center. I think that he's their best outfielder. I think he should be playing center field pretty much every day, if you ask me. But he's certainly going to play
Definitely.
when there's a righty on the mound, play center field. And then, Dylan Beavers is a guy that, again, they think is ahead of Kerstead. So it's like they're like kind of the same player. And, I just don't know that there really is a spot where he's going to play enough to warrant him not getting everyday at bats. I think, in my opinion, if they don't bring him up, I know the rosters expand at the beginning of September. And I think each team gets an extra a position player and an extra reliever. So I'm curious to see if
Correct.
if they, yeah, I think I think that he obviously would be a guy that would make sense. I could also see them maybe carrying 3 catchers because you figure when Basayo is back, which seems like it's going to be within the next few days, they have to make an interesting decision. Do you send down? And right now, I know Narvaez isn't hitting, but I mean, you figure
He's not going
Pozo.
anywhere.
You don't think so? You don't
No,
think
he's a
you're
better
saying
catcher than Pozo.
right? I think Pozo is like a character, and I think there's something to be said for that. But I think that they either are going to send him down, or if Blaze is going to be a little bit later than Basayo, do you use that to send Jeremiah Jackson down and have 3 catchers? And that way Basayo doesn't have to be the only catcher, maybe off the bench, or, vice versa. You at least have another option there. So that'll be an interesting move that they make when that time comes in the next few days, you figure.
They are not going to want Sammy Basayo behind the plate all that often. I'm not saying all that often, but I mean, he's not going to catch like he.
So you're saying, you're advocating,
not in this. I'm not advocating, but
so
I
you're
think
saying
probably
3 catchers.
I think they probably just want him to hit. That is,
I mean, it's like I said,
that's my guess.
Yeah.
But I will tell you somebody I like, Matt Faulkner. All right. I really do. I like this Christian Franklin. I like him. Almost hit a home run tonight. Like he did the Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah,
you might have to Google that
did.
one. Like he hit it and went. And next thing you know, caught at the fence. That was unfortunate. So let's we got our pal O's fan 1972. We love O's fan 1972. Same old shit with this team. They will lose 2 out of 3 to the Yankees and Rays. Jeez, you're starting to sound like me.
Oof,
I'm supposed to be Mr. Negative here, not you. My goodness. Matt, I mean, this was such a depressing game.
I hope
you were
not.
right,
I mean,
James.
I don't want to overreact. I mean, it's obviously sucks losing the last 2 games, especially yesterday. I would argue yesterday's loss was more frustrating than this one, but you knew that this stretch you weren't going to win them all. Now, obviously, they had opportunities yesterday. They had opportunities in tonight's game, and you forget those are 2 good teams. So you kind of tip your cap that they made a better pitch. They put a better swing on the ball. But I mean, I think that the Orioles have shown that they can beat these guys. Like, I don't think, like I don't know. Like I think sometimes we put too much on the uniform. Like the Yankees, like you look at the Yankees roster, it's like, obviously they don't have Judge, but it's like, are you worried about, Ben Rice? I mean, Ben Rice has had a good year, but he's not hit the ball lately. But they're finding ways to win, right? Lombard, I think, is going to be a nice player for them. He had a couple hits tonight.
Oh, yeah, goodness.
But you figure you had Bassett going tomorrow night, and you hope that, he'll continue to pitch well. He had a good outing in Tampa. And then you've got Bradish on Thursday. So, you feel good about Thursday for sure. I mean, you're facing Garrett Cole Thursday night, so that will be a tough one. But, you hope Bassett goes out there and competes, gives you quality innings, and hopefully you can get the offense going again.
Roy, small ball left the game when the agents told their players to hit home runs if they want to get paid. Let's see here. Wolfram has been horrible. Let's see. Hey, but at least we are lovely. We'll move on. Up to 5.59 for Wolfram. What else do we got? Team played good for a few games and everyone gets excited. I even got excited. Not me. This team has shown me nothing this year. They're Jekyll and Hyde. It's like, it's like Joe Rosano and Michael Sullivan. You know, I show up and say, "Hey, O's fans," and Michael's like, "Well, O's fans, I'm not sure you know what you're talking about." It's just a Jekyll and Hyde thing. I didn't like the starting lineup for the Orioles tonight. Tavares should be in center. What's your thoughts on who should have been starting tonight? Matt Faulkner, you seem to know a lot tonight, so we're going to call on you.
Well, again, I think that Kowser should be the everyday center fielder. And I get it. He doesn't hit lefties well. And Rodon obviously is left-handed. Tavares, though, did have 2 hits, so I can't really knock him tonight. But like you look at the season, he's not hitting lefties either, and he doesn't play a very good center field. So to me, that would be the first thing I would do is I'm taking Tavares out and I'm putting Kowser in center field. I honestly liked how they attacked lefties in the Tampa series with Alonso and then Tyler O'Neill. I kind of wish that they had not led Jackson Holiday off. Now, again, I think long term he probably is that guy for this lineup, and maybe starting him against the lefty tonight kind of is telling us like they believe that he's that leadoff guy of the future. But I don't necessarily have an issue with Franklin. He's got to play at some point. I was happy that Jeremiah Jackson wasn't in the lineup. So no, other than Kowser in center, I really wouldn't have changed much about it. I just think that Colton Kowser just needs more opportunities. I mean, he's had spurts in games where he's come up against a lefty and he's either had a really good at bat, a base hit, a walk. And I just think he needs more opportunities as opposed to watching Tavares go up there and hit right-handed. It's tough.
Yeah, I think he's run its course. There are no pushovers for this team. Every game is a challenge. I mean, that's the thing, man. You know, the Orioles generally don't lose 11-1. All right. But sometimes I kind of almost wish they would,
That'd be
because at least
easier.
I'm out of my misery at that point. Let's see here. We got Jackson had a great run at the beginning of the season. You're right. Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, Matt, I don't know if you remember this, but yeah, the folks were saying, hey, move Jackson Holiday to third because Jeremiah Jackson's a stud and this and that.
Yeah,
Now
I remember
everybody
that.
wants
I
to
do.
run him out of town.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jeremiah Jackson's last hit was in May. Ha ha, you're right. Jeremiah
Yeah.
Jackson, JJ, has 3 hits since the 1st of July. Is that true?
Sounds about right. I mean,
Goodness.
he hasn't really played a ton either. Now, it's hard to play a guy when he's not hitting. I get that, but it's not as if he's getting a ton of at bats. I 100% believe that. Well, I see the Pozo and Narvaez. I think Pozo obviously, I think has shown that he's been able to give you better at bats, more competitive at bats, but defensively, I think Narvaez is much better at calling a game, handling a pitcher, and that's why he plays. I do like Pozo in the dugout, though. Like I said, I think he does provide some good vibes in there, and it's something maybe that the Orioles missed or didn't have.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. I mean, you know, I think that Narvaez is probably your backup catcher for the future. I think get used to him. He's under control until 2030. Him and Sammy Basayo were probably your catchers for a long time. And the Adley Rutschman update. Adley hits his first home run tonight for the Sox. Already had 3 ribs before that in the game.
Yeah, it was
We
the
like
first.
Adley, and
He had been struggling
we're
though.
happy
I think
for
he
him.
had like 1 hit. He had like an infield single. That was the only hit that he had had. He had been struggling. I'd been seeing people complain on some Red Sox people complain on Twitter about it, but nice to see him going. I'll always root for Adley. Just maybe not so much anymore, especially when he's playing the Orioles.
We rock the planet, but we don't have good hitting. They were swinging for the fences again. Uh, It's because they're a bunch of kids. And really, I mean, here's the thing. When I played Atari in 1988, right, when I was 19 years old, I didn't have $15 million. At the end of the day, yeah, I just think these are young guys and chicks dig the long ball, folks, and their agents dig the long ball because that's how we get paid. Give Heston Beavers at bats.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Last season it was bring up Beavers, bring them up. I don't know if you remember that, Matt, but they
Oh
were
yeah.
screaming for bring up Beavers. He's the best. And now, not so much. Navarez is, man, I don't know what the heck, good enough backup catcher. Yes,
Yeah.
he is a GEBUC, a good enough backup catcher.
I mean,
Mike, I love that one.
the thing that I would say is at some point though, like you got to give credit to the pitching. Sometimes the pitching is better than the other side. You got to tip your cap that, and Rodon, I know it was his first start back, but Rodon's a good pitcher. And the Orioles, it's not like they are known to hit left-handed starters. So like if you told me that, they lose 3-1, I believe it. They didn't hit tonight. And sometimes it's just a well-pitched game on the other side. It was really on both sides. But the Yankee bullpen, to their credit, was a little bit better. They had more guys available, which was a huge thing, and they were able to offensively get enough hits and find a way to win. So you tip your cap. But I still feel very good about where this Orioles team is. I mean, they're gonna have some games like this where they don't swing the bats well, but I still think, especially with Basayo coming back, Blaze coming back, like I think offensively they're going to be okay. This bullpen, though, that's what I worry about.
Yeah, well, we've been worried about that since March. Is Boz the best 4-13 pitcher now in the majors?
Yes,
No question
100%.
about it.
Oh,
Yes. I agree. Cowser should be every day in center field. Albie refuses to free Colton Cowser. Oh my goodness. Let's see what else we have here, Matt, as we're coming down the stretch. Platooning ruins switch hitting Cedric Mullins. Prove me wrong.
that is an interesting point.
Yeah, it certainly is.
You don't see, like, there's not a ton of, off the top of my head, I can't think of a ton of switch hitters. And I feel like in the late 90s into the 2000s, there were a lot more. Like when I think of switch hitters, I think of like Mark Teixeira, right? Was one that pops in. Like he was a guy that was a power hitter. But it's like, nowadays you don't see that as often. And I think maybe there is something to be said about the platooning and it kind of, I mean, I do remember Mullins being a switch hitter, but he was so bad that they eventually just told him to hit left-handed.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been better for it. We need to learn the fundamentals, how to play baseball. We rock the planet. You got me there. I've been saying that since March. The first game of the homestand, you know what's going to happen. The Yankees will probably beat the Orioles 3 straight or 2 out of 3. It seems like my relatives are on. Stop with
Yeah.
the musical
Negative.
lineups. Negative. We died with the long ball tonight. We always do. Jeremiah Jackson, 3 for his last 35. That happens to the best of them, however, but, limited at bats, can't get a rhythm.
Yeah, he's not a
That
guy that you want up
happens.
in that situation. You don't want him hitting in that situation when he's 3 for 35.
I feel like the mountain coming back this season is inevitable, says our buddy Mike T6119. Now I have had, I believe, on the show on Friday, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody said that they had that labrum surgery for the
Yeah.
shoulder, and it's a lot more difficult to heal than like even Tommy John, which is why he's been out so long. I mean, does the mountain come back and throw 100 miles an hour?
Well, and I had seen reports where they said that, I mean, obviously he's not pitched in any games yet. Seems like that's going to be starting this coming week, but the velocity from what I was reading, and I don't know how true this is, but I saw this report a couple different places. They said he was like 95. So I don't know that we're going to see 103. We probably don't see that again. But if Batista is, upper 90s with that wipeout sweep splitter that he has, I'll take that. Not 103, but I'd still take 96 with that splitter that he has. And then maybe you get Helsley back at the end. Maybe. And your bullpen looks a little bit better. I will tell you
this. That splitter certainly doesn't hurt. That's for darn sure. Let's see, what else do we have here, Matt? Let me do a graphic here real quick. If I could find it. Oh, there it is. Friday, Birdland mailbag with the brilliant Michael Sullivan. That's every Friday, 1:00. Birdland mailbag with your pal Joe Rossano and the brilliant Michael Sullivan. As many of you know, as I mentioned, Matt is a school teacher and he's going back to work, so he won't be on the mailbag as often. But we certainly love having Matt Faulkner. Again, O's fans, speaking of Matt Faulkner, Matt and I just graciously, as well as Michael, appreciate you hanging out. We are, again, as always, we're fans talking to other fans, you might notice. So, again, we really appreciate it. Please take some time, if you could, consider adopting yourselves a pet. While you're here, folks, if you could be so kind, please click that subscribe button. I've got people who are podcasters, et cetera, that say, people subscribe and they share your episode. Make sure they click share and share it to Facebook. That really helps. Folks, if you could be so kind as to please subscribe, like, share, comment, click that notification bell for all latest episodes of Joe Rossano's Orioles Report. For the brilliant Michael Sullivan, the handsome Matt Faulkner, I am Joe Rossano, and I say God bless you, O's fans. And we will see you next time.
See ya.